All right, let's jump into tonight's video, Tuesday, June 17th. So this is, this was the general idea that we were going with yesterday, that as long as there's no hourly close below 22.97, all you that joined the stream yesterday know we talked about that a lot. And I think also in last night's video, if no hourly closes below 22.97, then this is very possible. The B wave before hour three, or the two wave before hour three wave higher. If this is not the bottom, meaning if there's an hourly close below 22.97, more than likely price can head down to 21.38. And from there, again, thesis remains unchanged. Only difference is after this wave one, are we going to pull back to 25, 22.97, 21.30, 38? Based on today's price action, believe it or not, this may have been the bottom. Now, it would be super cool if it is, because I don't know if you guys remember, if I show you guys right now, you'll see. But you could look at it on your own too. When price was up here, and Gavin knew it was the end of wave one. Gavin forecasted 22.97, low 23s. If you guys remember, 23.19 or 22.97, one of these originally, all the way from here. Now, for me, got to be honest with you guys, I think it was actually my fault. There was a couple of times when me and Gavin saw big moves coming, and we waited to buy because we wanted, to wait until price came down to our level, and it ripped $20 in the exact direction that we thought it would. We just got greedy waiting to buy. When price came down to 25, I was speaking to Gavin, and the 1 hour held, and I was like, Gavin really wanted to wait for here, but I said, listen, how many moves we missed based on just being a little greedy. Why don't we buy this? And if price loses that level, we'll just sell the call above, and this way we'll be hedged for this downside move back down to 22.97. We tried that, and obviously how it worked out. Price lost the level and came back down to the next one, but it could have easily worked out in our favor as well. It happens to be it didn't. Do I regret the decision? No. In trading, got to keep emotions out of it. You got to trade with the system, do what the system tells you to do every single time, no matter how you're feeling about it. Because if you start judging your system, then then you're not confident in your system, and that's where traders make mistakes. If you want to really be successful, you have to have a system and follow it through, no matter what. No matter how you feel in the current moment, because the market's designed to make you feel a certain way right before the opposite thing happens. So moving on, this was a nice bounce off this level. This level held completely. Now, it wasn't the reaction that you kind of want to see off of the low. Like, this reaction was a lot more encouraging, if you would, because you could see how it bounced and bounced really strongly to the upside. But then this happened, and it ended up breaking right through. So maybe there's no point reading too deep into that. For now, it held, and so there's no reason to think differently. Also, you guys saw LDPM was bearish pretty much the entire day, and then all of a sudden, you guys saw that LDPM on the 1 hour just spiked below price. It did it earlier, but even when it did, this was like, I don't know, kind of weird action. Like, it came up a bit, but then liquidity turned bad again. Price came right back down. But then at one point, at about 1 p.m., you could see someone was obviously trying to push price higher. This isn't like conspiracy or anything. This is pretty obvious, because they came in exactly here, right after the sugar cross. It looks to me like someone was trying to force the airplane to happen. Now, let's just be straight, all right? The airplane, the hourly trigger can cross a little bit below the daily trigger before, moving higher. But if, for example, not Amazon, Google, which was a good example of a failed airplane a couple of days ago, partially due to the market gap down, but this would be considered, this is not an airplane anymore. This is, the hourly trigger crossed down and the airplane setup is invalid. Price moves back up now, it's going to have two resistances, the hourly trigger and the daily trigger, so it's going to be tough. But for GME, the hourly trigger only just crossed under the daily trigger. So if GME can break through both of them, it'll still be considered an airplane. Now, if we go back to a couple of other airplanes GME had, only had two of them actually, but one of them was right here. Hourly trigger came down to the daily trigger. You could see it's still an airplane because the hourly trigger didn't really, crack down below. It's got to crack down below, and the trajectory needs to seem like it's going fully down. But over here, it was saved a little bit. Then I think we had another one. I think there was one more. This was an airplane, but you know, the hourly trigger never came down. But yeah, airplanes in general work really well, especially for GME. We just had one recently right before earnings. Of course, this one. So again, still possible. To know for certain, I would love to see daily LDPM come down below price. And if that happens tomorrow morning, I'll be watching this very, very, very carefully. Daily LDPM, which, you know, on a good note, it did start coming down towards price. So LDPM, it's not only bullish or bearish when it's under or moves above price. When it moves under, move above. If LDPM is moving towards price, that means it used to be there was bad liquidity up until here, and now there's good liquidity already here. So if it moves a little, we're getting closer and closer to good liquidity as opposed to further and further away. For example, here, when LDPM moved away from price, it was telling you that liquidity is getting better. So even when it doesn't cross above or below, you can still use it to let you know direction. If it moves away from price, it's telling you liquidity is getting better and better. And over here, you know, when it was moving away from price, it's telling you liquidity is getting worse and worse. So this is a little bit encouraging. But again, you know, very, very, very simple. Keeping everything simple. We have an hourly close below 22.97. We're probably coming down to 23.38. We get an hourly close above 25, then confirmed this was the bottom. If we are able to form this, if GME is able to form this airplane tomorrow, then things look encouraging to move up quickly to attack 25. From there, you know, if we really are about to start this rally, then we'd see the airplane form tomorrow, see an hourly close above 25, and then we can finally break above the monthly trigger. Keep in mind, it is June 28th, 27th, sorry. Wait. Yeah, 27th. Time's moving fast. So as we near the end of the month, right, this is actually very important. As we're near the end of the month, you have to keep in mind negative velocity. Right now, you know, if we were to attack the monthly trigger, it's almost nothing. It's the best chance price has had of breaking above the monthly trigger way back since October. You could see how the rejection here came against negative velocity of, you know, negative 0.31. That was this rejection. The rejection here came against velocity of negative 0.56. There's no way price is going to be able to break above the monthly trigger with negative velocity that hard. Even over here, we're working with negative 0.42. Over here, again, negative 0.42. Strong negative monthly velocity means that there are sellers waiting hard at the monthly trigger. But when negative velocity is this low, kind of is telling you, all right, there's no more sellers really waiting here. If price is able to push above here, then we can actually break above the monthly trigger for real and get real follow through. For example, like Tesla did over here, broke above its monthly trigger. You know, monthly velocity had gotten better and was able to rally to the upside. So things look really promising for this three wave. Everything makes sense. Question is, can we get that close above 25 or not? We'll find out. We'll find out soon enough.